Australia, let's talk about them because I spoke earlier about the Aussie women's team not having the ability to be a bit boring when it comes to their Ashes series, but the men's team and Andrew McDonald and the selectors, they do kind of have an ability to be a little bit boring in one of these next two test matches because all they've got to do is draw one of these tests in order to retain the Ashes and not really have to worry about too much else other than that. I'm sure they would love to win the series, but it's a very difficult place to come and win a test series, much like going away from home anywhere. Winning away from home is nearly impossible. I suspect India are probably going to do it in the West Indies this time around because I think the West Indies are getting hosed at the moment. But Australia have got something to think about with regards to Mitch Marsh. He came in for Cam Green at Headingley. He got that 100. Could they get rid of someone like Scott Boland's and ask Cam Green and Mitch Marsh to kind of do Scott Boland's bowling? That's quite difficult to say if you say it quite quickly. But then have an extra batter in the side, which obviously makes England's ability to win those games a little bit harder than what it would be with Boland. Or do you get rid of like David Bugs Bunny Warner at the top of the order and maybe get Mitch Marsh up top or find somebody? I mean, somebody else can open, can't they? It doesn't have to be Mitch Marsh. But do you see Australia being a bit boring, putting an extra batter in? Or do you think they kind of look at Mitch Marsh as a guy that's just going to go, we're just going to make our team better and make it easier for us to win the game?
I think they could be well-intentioned in trying to go for the draw, but I just can't see it happening. I mean, I know it was all the talk, wasn't it, before the Ashes even begun, that there wasn't going to be a draw unless any of these games were rain affected. And to be honest, even if they went in thinking, I don't know, what, third, like, say, I don't know, they were batting, like, it was the third innings and they were like, right, let's just batten the hatches, we're gonna just soak it up and go for the draw. I just can't see it happening. Like, I think England will be too hostile because they obviously need to win so desperately. And I think if there was enough chat flying around, honestly, I reckon they're just getting their heads. I would not like to see them put another batter in. I think, but then, it's tough, isn't it? Because obviously Josh Hazlewood didn't play up at Headingley, so you think he just comes straight in for Boland potentially.
Yeah.
Cam Green, he's got the best hands in world cricket, hasn't he? They can't be without him in the gully, as well as obviously what he offers with bat and ball, although we haven't necessarily seen it so far in this series. But Mitch Marsh, the impact that he had at Headingley, it feels like a bit of a shame if he was to only come over here, play in one Ashes test, and them obviously not win that game, but the impact that he's had, it's interesting. And David Warner, I think we can part with him, can't we, at the end of this Ashes series? That is for sure. I wouldn't be averse to them throwing someone else, almost on a hide into nothing, to go up there with Khawaja, because Khawaja just does Khawaja things and he'll bat all day. But Davey Warner. Warner,
he's
Neil,
kind of
Stuart Broad, 17 or
17
now.
17, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh.
He's kind of earmarked his retirement, hasn't he? Like over in at the end of the next Australian summer. So I think he'll be desperate to play, but I don't necessarily think he'd be that kind of upset if it didn't really work out for him this time around. But I don't know. I don't see them dropping him, to be completely honest with you. I think he just adds a bit of something to that Australian team that they probably don't possess if he's not about. I don't know whether that's kind of an impact in the field. Excuse me. It certainly isn't with the bat, is it, at the moment? But he scored 60 odd in the first test, I think. He scored. Looked okay for a start. Looked okay for a start in the World Test Championship as well. So I don't know. They should be confident, the Aussie men's team. They should definitely be confident. But I do think they're going to be a little bit kind of scared of this England team because they're definitely going to be able to bowl England out of a test match. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Like, they have the bowlers to be able to turn up one day and just rattle through England and skittle them for about 55. That Australian team can do that. But I don't think they've got the batting lineup that are going to be able to bat England out of the game. I don't see them at the moment going on and putting like a a 700 or a 600 on the board against Wood, Wokes, Anderson, Broad, Robinson, Tongue, Moeen, whoever they decide to go with. Because they're going to get to like that 350, that kind of 370, that classic English like first inning score. And they're going to know that England are going to go out there, and that they're going to know that England are going to be able to chase that down inside 3 sessions as well. So I think they're in a really kind of precarious position. I really, really do. I don't think it's going to be easy for them to win one of these next 2 test matches, because they're going to be so cautious about what England can do.
And I think that's the psychological impact that this whole Bazball way of going about Test cricket has on the opposition. Certainly over here on home soil, when you know how much of an impact the crowd also has. Certainly it will be similar at Old Trafford as it was at Headingley. You know, really getting that kind of 12th man kind of vibes and creating that hostile environment for the Aussies. I'm absolutely certain that plays into England's hands as well. So it feels a bit nervy for the Aussies, but as we've already spoken about, like, both series are well and truly alive, both men's and women's. And I think England are in... You just don't want to say it. You don't want to say the obvious, do you? So I'm not going to say it. But they're in decent positions. We'll see where we're at this time next week. That's honestly what it feels like. It's edge of your seat stuff. The dynamic feels like it changes almost every day with some of the stuff you read in the papers or online, etc. It's thrilling.
It is good. Before we get into this top 10 that you've prepared for me to kind of make me look incredibly stupid, women's Ashes, Australia or England, right now, who are you going for?
England.
Okay. Men's?
England. I'm going to be an eternal optimist.
I like it. I do like it. My heart says England for the women, but I do think I can't look past that Australian women team. I think they're going to win one of those 2 games, and that upsets me, but that's unfortunately where I think I'm going to go. But I am going to say it's going to be a drawn series. The men's side of it, I'm going to say England. I'm going to say we're winning up at Old Trafford, obviously, because that's what we're going to need to do. And it's going to be a winner takes all at the Oval, and I just feel like Australia are just going to bottle it, choke, huge, 3-2. I'm not going to use the word because it's foul and abusive, but it'll be 3-2 off, and we'll have won the Ashes for the first time in a few years. So that's where I'm going.